You're thinking you're gonna go up in an orderly fashion, but it's just not that way.
It's all chaos. It's all shooting. Guys start peeling off in different directions, trying to get away from whatever's happening around them.
Over all that noise, you can hear the bullets coming in. It sounds crazy. You can literally hear them hitting the dirt in front of you. And I can't figure out why the hell they're picking on me. And then I realize I never took my stripes off. They're trying to kill me because I'm a leader.
They're trying to kill me because I'm a leader. Well, I didn't have a knife. I didn't have anything. I wasn't going to cut my stripes off now. I'm too busy trying to keep from getting killed. So I got up and I just started firing at that spot again, put another magazine and get up and start firing. And the third time I went to do that, something suddenly blinded me.
And I reach up to protect my eyes. Something suddenly hits me in the chest, knocks me backwards. And for a second, all I can think is, this is it. I'm gonna die on a hill out in the middle of nowhere. But then the pain starts getting more intense.
And what had happened is this enemy soldier was shooting at me. His first round came in, hit the dirt in front of my face, blasted the dirt in my eyes. And when I reached up his second round, it didn't penetrate my body, but it had enough power to knock me right on my ass. There's no way in hell I'll be this lucky again. So I yell at my guys, I want you to follow me. And I took off running. And as I ran, bullets were coming, bullets were nipping at my feet. I just started running up that hill. Jumping over abandoned bunkers, not even paying any attention to what's going on around me.
All I know is if I'm gonna survive, I've got to get to the top of that hill.
Everybody's flat on the ground, kissing dirt. If we don't find a way to take out those bunkers, we're all gonna end up dead.
Marine Lieutenant Carl Marlantis is on Hill 484. Hours earlier, he and his company began an assault against approximately 100 NVA who were dug into the hill.
I holler at one of my gunners.
And I said, you gotta engage that machine gun that's coming out of that bunker up there. You've got to keep them busy. And he laid down and they started a machine gun duel. That machine gun shooting at him and him shooting back. And he was pumping blood because he'd been hit in the leg. And you could see the blood coming out of his leg as his heart was beating. And this kid just kept shooting. But he kept that machine gun down. And I thought, this is it. And I started running up the hill. And I thought I was all by myself.
But out of the corner of my eye, I see all my guys just seconds behind me. And when we get to the bunkers, everyone opens up.
Just seconds behind me. And we hit those bunkers, and
I start
went
running down the line,
throwing hand grenades into them, and everybody else was coming with me, and we took the hill.
Four men from my platoon died, taking Hill 484. And every one of them was a friend.
To try and be a leader, you have to order people to do things that kills them. And that's hard. And it's usually your best guys. Because if you know it's going to be tough, You put your best guys to make sure that we get the job done, and then your best guys die. And it's always a tough one. I carry that with me.
I'm hunkered down, bracing for the next wave of gunfire. But it's strangely calm. All I hear is some rifle shots and a few hand grenades off in the distance. And then I see someone coming up, and he flashes me the peace sign. And then I realize that's my guys coming up the hill.
On May 20th, 1969, after 10 days of brutal fighting, U.S. forces successfully secure Hill 937. The cost to the U.S., 70 American soldiers killed and 372 wounded. The cost to the enemy, more than 600 killed. Although U.S. forces win the hill and the Battle of the Body Count, the majority of the 1,500 North Vietnamese originally spotted on Hill 937 escape into Laos.
I'm so thrilled, I don't even know what to say. I can't believe I survived. We've actually taken this bitch of a hill. Right as I'm about to sit down and rest for a second, a couple of soldiers come over to me and they say, hey, you know, they got a name for this hill. So I say, really?
What is it? Well, they call it Hamburger Hill. Okay, why do they call it that? Well, because it was a human meat grinder. And that's why they gave it that name. And there's even a sign over there on that stump. So I went over and looked, and there was a sign there that said Hamburger Hill. It was stuck to a tree stump with a bayonet. And so I was looking at the sign, and I said, okay.
I see a few tiny words scrawled on a piece of paper and pinned beneath it. They read, "Was it worth it?" For a moment, I looked around at the blasted out tree stumps and the empty, hollow bomb craters. And the moans of the wounded start to fill my ears. And the smell of cordite starts to burn my nose. And I just stand there thinking, was it worth it? Was Hamburger Hill really worth it? God, I certainly hope so.
The battle for Hamburger Hill near the Laotian border is over. A dozen North Vietnamese snipers were killed today.
So much for savoring victory. They're already making us pack up and leave this damn hill.
On June 5th, 1969, 16 days after heroically seizing Hamburger Hill, U.S. forces abandon it. 3 weeks later, the NVA retake the hill without a fight.
Hamburger Hill was just on a larger scale what happened all over Vietnam. So on the tactical level, it was easy to understand what our job was. On the more esoteric level, there was no objective. I mean, you think about World War II, where's my father fought and my uncles. Well, at first, if you're in the Pacific, you take this island and you take that island and you get closer to Tokyo and you can sort of measure your progress. Like, oh, looks like we're winning. Or, you land in Normandy and then you liberate Paris and then you go across the Rhine and you had objectives. Vietnam was the first war where it was unclear how do you know when you've won?
On June 27th, in a groundbreaking 12-page cover story, Life magazine publishes the photographs of 242 Americans killed in Vietnam in just 1 week. Many mistakenly believe that all of the men died taking Hamburger Hill. The battle suddenly ignites a firestorm of controversy.
President Nixon, when he was running during the campaign, stated he had a peace plan. We'd like to know what it is.
We want to show Mr. Nixon that there are so many people opposed to the war that it is politically possible for him to end it now.
Senator Kennedy of Massachusetts delivered a brief speech criticizing what he called the senseless and irresponsible military pride, in which American men are sent to their deaths in pointless battles like this one for Hamburger Hill.
Although U.S. forces have fought battles like Hamburger Hill many times in the past, the American public, still traumatized by the Tet Offensive and frustrated with President Nixon for not delivering the peace he promised, comes to see the battle as representative of the entire Vietnam War, an unjustifiable loss of American lives. The cumulative effect of 4 years of graphic news coverage, an ever-increasing death toll, and the building anger over a seemingly endless war push some Americans to look for an outlet for their frustrations. For the first time in U.S. history, the American soldier will